My dear students, welcome to the English class. I have a lot of questions today. Can we live without drinking water? Is it possible for all of us to live without water? Not possible, absolutely, because water is an essential thing that we need every day in our life. I can say every moment we need water in our life. A person, in order to live, he should have fresh air. We should have fresh water. We should have, of course, sunlight, because without which we cannot live. And other things, all other creatures or our nature, everything depends on these things, either water, sunlight and air, because we have to breathe in and breathe out. Now, today I am going to take up the poem Water, written by Chellapilli Swaruparani. And water is an essential thing in our life, and water can either give us life or it can take our life away. It has two qualities. When water is needed, we drink water. It nourishes us, it strengthens us, it brings in life, and we feel happy after quenching our thirst. At the same time, think about tsunami that occurred. And even today, people get scared. Whenever we go to the beaches, we first see how the waves are, how the wavelength is. Why? We are scared of the December month when tsunami just hit all our borders. And today, not only this tsunami, even you might have heard of floods. Whenever the floods have come, it has washed away, the flood has washed away villages together. And so many hundreds and thousands of people have wept because they lost their land, they lost their property, they lost their everything. In Karnataka, we cannot forget now previous rains, torrential rains and landslides that occurred. And you know that some parts of Dakshina Kannada, Kodagu district were badly affected. And so many people lost their lives, so many people lost their houses, and it was a great tragedy. It was a great tragedy. It was a great natural calamity. And my dear children, so let us know it clearly. Water, if it is used with good intention, it gives life. If water is used with bad intention, it can take life away. So, this poem written by Chellapilli Swaruparani highlights the gender discrimination that existed in the times immemorial or immortal. It tries to explain, it tries to explain it with the many comparisons. The poetess is very clear. She compares this water, this which is called a thing, she compares this how it is useful and how it became a menace because of wrong things that are in the minds of people. She tries to explain it with many comparisons, and the first one is the water is aware of the ground's incline. And it knows how people have struggled through generations and generations, and this is compared to the dampness that always exists near the well, as that part never dries. Now, for example, there is a well, people go to draw water. After drawing water, you know that, you might have observed, some water is spilled there, and that keeps the dampness. And when next person comes, whether to identify whether someone has drawn water or not, the dampness they come to know, because there is spilled water there, and we come to know that someone has just now drawn water. And this is what, it never dries away there. And in the same way, this discrimination is never going to end. That is what the poet is telling. Even the discrimination with the different caste, creed and everything, it doesn't go away, and it exists. Water is a witness to the difference of race between the Samaritan woman. In Bible, an incident comes where Jesus is feeling thirsty, and he goes, at that time he sees a well there, and a Samaritan woman, she is drawing water. And usually these Samaritans are considered as lower caste people, and usually they are not supposed to talk to the Jews. These Jewish people consider themselves as high class people, and they were considered as the chosen people of God, and whereas these Samaritans were considered lower caste people, and they were not Jewish people, never got water or anything from these people, from the Samaritans. But Jesus makes a difference. Jesus comes there and speaks to the woman and says that, I am thirsty. He says that he is thirsty, and he asks for water from the Samaritan woman. And then Samaritan woman is surprised, because a Jew. And she says, you are a Jew. And he says, I know. Actually, she says that we are not supposed to give. Jesus says that, don't worry about all things, and right now I am thirsty. Can you give me some water? And Samaritan woman offers water to Jesus, and Jesus breaks the rule. That inequality is opposed by Jesus. And you see, the same thing we see later on in one of the incidents in Maharashtra also, and where Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, he goes to a well where the lower class people were not supposed to go, and he drinks water from there. And the same thing the poetess here compares. And it is believed that the Samaritan woman supposed to be, that means the Samaritans, they were supposed to be the ones who are treated very badly as they were belonging to the lowest caste. And it is believed that Jesus, who was offered water from such a lady, was gracious enough to accept it. That means even Jesus, so he has so many followers, so many Christians follow him, and if he has accepted water, why not others? This is the question. This question arises. And water is aware of the difference that exists between the cobbler and the weaver. Water, that means the discrimination has gone to so much height that the poetess is just sarcastically is telling, the water knows, that means water knows who is a cobbler, who is the weaver. That means the difference is made there when they are taking water. It means even the subcaste difference is very clearly highlighted. Panchama is supposed to be the fifth set in the Varna category. There is, you know that we had a lot of Varnas, okay, different castes and creed. In that, there were Varnas, okay, Varna system. In the Varna system, fifth set was Panchama. And these were considered to be lower than the Shudras. Now, we know that Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas and Shudras. Like this we know, this category know, but we don't come to know, even in that Varna, there were also groups like in the fifth sect. Just imagine, in the fifth sect of this they were lower than the Shudras and were never provided an opportunity to draw water from the well. They were forced to wait near the well. They were waiting for hours together. Where the higher class people, they had to draw water and they had to go. And after they disappeared only, stealthily, they could come and draw water. And they were forced to wait near the well with an empty pot, holding the pot this way till a considerate Shudra comes there and draws water from the well. That means first the Shudra should draw the water from the well, then only after he draws and goes, only these people could draw water. This was the system. And water again is a witness to the humiliation. Even water also, once again, it is a witness. It is a proof of humiliation that the Vada girl had to face always when water was drawn. Whenever the Vada girl used to come and draw the water, she has to face all this insult, all this torture she had to face. And while pouring into the container, a part of it would spill and wet the clothes. Even when you just fill the water, afterwards you just hold that, by the time some water just spills on the dress and it would wet her clothes. And this intentional act was the highest because they would hardly get water added to it. Humiliation was the highest degree. Now, for example, they had to draw water. While drawing water, even though water should not fall down, some water should be dropped so that people next who come, they should know that water is dropped here. So this was the condition. A lady here in this poem, a lady called Karmachedu Suvartamma. She, as the one who raised her voice and supported a Dalit boy who was being beaten by a group of youth. There was a boy who came to draw water, and at the time the other group youth, they come there and they wanted to hit him because they wanted to drink water first, and this boy came there, and at that time he was saved by this great lady Suvartamma. She, who had come to collect water from the tank, raises her pot. She raises her pot. She does not like, because they are discriminated. Because this boy went to drink the water, they discriminated. She could not tolerate it. She raised that pot to stop the boy from being attacked, for the reason that he requested the youth not to pollute the water. They were polluting the water because that water was so sacred, and because it is sacred always, because the drinking water is always sacred water. Why? Because people use it for their life. Whereas these youth, they were polluting the water. The villagers, the whole village used to use the water for drinking purposes, and they were polluting the water. So this boy told not to do so, and for that the youth came to attack that boy. And at the time, timely that Suvartamma, she came and protected the boy. And the water, they were cleaning their cattle. They used the water to clean their cattle, and they polluted that water. But at the time, the boy said that don't pollute this water. We are using it for drinking purposes. And the youth could not tolerate this, because he asked the question and they wanted to attack him and everything. At the time, Suvartamma protected that boy. Now, the poetess goes a step. The poetess recollects how her Vada people would wait thirsty for a glass of water. She remembers now, she recollects her childhood days. How these Vada people, they used to wait for just a glass of water to drink. The poetess describes that water to them is not simply H2O. chemically we say H2O is water. Now, for those people, it is not just H2O, but a mighty movement. Water means it is a mighty movement, and she compares that to a struggle at the Chadar tank, the Mahad struggle. I tell you, the Mahad struggle of 1927, she recollects that one where Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, he went to that place. People of lower caste were not allowed to touch the water, and he goes and drinks water there. And people after that, they took up that as a struggle, and it is believed that all the Dalit men and women one day went to the Chadar tank there and dipped their hands into the waters only to proclaim to the village people that they were opposing the norms. Such discrimination they wanted to oppose, and they all went there and dipped their hands in the water just to react. For people like the poetess, a single drop of water makes them recollect tears shed over generation. That means in the generations and generations together, people for drinking water, they have struggled a lot under the clutches of these higher class people, or who are considered as upper class people. And that is what this poetess is just recollecting. There were many battles fought for a single drop of water, and in this process many people lost their lives, and yet they could not get a small puddle of water. Now we cannot forget the always fight between different states for their rivers. Either may it be river Kaveri, because which is flowing from Karnataka to Tamil Nadu, or another river which flows from one state to another. Always there the clash. Many times even this fight has taken lives. The poetess at her own community appeared to be a cursed one, because there were a lot of occasions when the community doesn't have an opportunity to take a bath every day. Now, some people, they should not take a bath every day. Why? Because they can't get enough water. Whereas some other people, they are taking bath twice a day, 2 times a day they take bath, and they have enough water. Whereas one group of people, they don't have enough water to take single bath a day. That means the entire village could luxuriously bathe twice a day, but some people could not do that even single time. This clearly narrates the pathetic state in which the Panchamas were, and that is the main reason for their living. Now, whenever the poetess gets an opportunity to recollect her childhood, small, that means when she goes back to her childhood, she is able to remember the pain that she and her friends experienced when they had to carry heavy pots, and their necks, they used to carry heavy pots on their heads, and their necks would start aching very badly, and they had to walk miles to reach a canal, and almost had to steal water from there, because they were not supposed to go and take water, just to dip, and they could not take. It is not a like open canal. Even for that there were restrictions, and after going there they have to go stealthily, they have to go that so that nobody looks at them, and finally immediately they have to dip their pot into the water, and after that they have to take as much as water, because when they get the chance and bring. This was the terrific struggle the poetess recalls. In a village called Malappalli, there was not a pot of water. There was a particular village, Malappalli village, and there was not a pot of water, and because of which houses of people were mercilessly put on fire. There was a big fire in the village, and the whole village got burnt they did not have a pot of water just to put off the fire. How it happened? How it can occur? Because they did not allow. It was not allowed to dig a well there. This may appear to be a simple thing, but it is the greatest quality is that it can give life as well as take it away. That means water can give life and it can take it away. Without giving, if there was water there that day, at least they could have put off the fire when it started in the beginning. But it burnt the whole village mercilessly. And even water here, it can give life, it can take it away also. There are occasions when the water could not satisfy the thirsty person. Sometimes some people, even water is offered that their thirst is not quenched. That means there is selfishness. As much as water they get, they want to have it, but whether other people have or not, they are not bothered. Okay, but it would transform into a tsunami wave that nearly swallowed many villages. And we see the same water turned out to be a tsunami, and it has taken several lives altogether. Water has the ability to turn villages into dry deserts or drown them in floods, as people are just like helpless play objects. Now sometimes when a flood just rushes and gushes in, we are of simple play objects. It doesn't look whether you are having a big building or everything is smashed within no time, and everything is just in the water, just taken away, swept away. And water can do that much danger. Water has been the cause of fights between states, between villages. Sometimes between villages, water has been the reason. And in this process, many people have been seriously wounded. When there is a fight for water, many people have got wounded several times. And some have even lost their lives just because of water. Whatever be the nature of water of late, it has been transformed. It has been transformed to sit innocently in a Bisleri bottle. Now, that same water, it is sitting in a Bisleri bottle without knowing anything. All these struggles of far past, all these fights, all this discrimination and everything. The bottle or the water in the bottle, Bisleri bottle, doesn't know this struggle. That is what sarcastically the poetess is expressing here. It means if human beings have the ability to purchase water, they can truly do so now. That means you will get in crates. You order for water, you can get in crates today because Bisleri bottles are prepared. Even in that also you know that some are giving good water, even in that contaminated water also. That is also we are seeing today. Even because of selling water, they are making too much money and cheating also. But whatever it may be, today water is available in Bisleri bottles. However you want, you can order and get it. Earlier, many women like the poetess had to struggle to get even a small pot of water, but now it has been transformed into a multinational market commodity. Today, water is going from one country to another. It has become a multinational market commodity. In crates. Okay, water is going in crates, boxes and boxes. It has created a great revolution, and in doing so, no human being is discriminated. Today, now the water bottle is given to everyone. Anybody who wants to purchase, they can purchase. There is no restriction as such. So, no discrimination today. That is what she is telling. It is believed that water is present everywhere and it can take the whole world in its stride. So, my dear students, this poem, Water, is really giving us a thought, how important the water is to our life and how precious it is, how we have to protect it, and for this water we should not fight, because it should be shared amicably, because we cannot restrict anybody for water, because it is the essential thing to live. If at all, if we share water with someone, it surely you are sharing your life with someone, and it can boost someone's life. And let us not fight for this water. Instead, let us strive hard for the unity. Strive hard for the unity. Let us make use of water for unity, not for fights. And very sad thing that like these struggles have gone for some people because of caste, creed and other discriminations. Let it not occur in the days to come.